Conan, come on, buddy. You just went out like 3 hours ago, buddy. All right, what's going on, everybody? We're doing this is the first time we've ever done this on GNR Central, reviewed an album because Guns N' Roses never put out an album. So we're here talking about Slash's new album, Living the Dream. Got Jeff and Bailey joining us. How's it going, guys?
I'm doing well. Yourself, brother?
Good. How are you doing, Bailey?
Pretty good.
So yeah, let's talk about the album. It's the third release from Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators. We were able to get a copy of it actually last night, and I listened to it all day at work today. And I've heard the singles. Like he's already got. I'm kind of amazed he's got 3 singles out already. Like, you think he would space them out more because which ones? He's got Mind Your Manners, he's got Driving Rain, then he's got My Antidote. And Driving Rain is doing really well on the charts. The other 2 songs haven't even charted yet.
Probably because My Antidote is like the beginning of Beautiful People led into You Could Be Mine. If you go and listen to that, man, that intro to Antidote is You Could Be Mine. Sorry, but it is.
Well, like You Could Be Mine's my favorite song, but I wouldn't say My Antidote is.
You need to go back and re-listen to that bass line, dude. You need to go back and listen to that bass line and those drum tracks, and you need to tell me that it is not. And the timing of the song, and you'll be like, yep, he's right. It's You Could Be Mine.
Well, a lot of this album sounded like, like I've heard before, like Driving Rain, a lot of people thought was like Standing in the Sun. I think the song Lost Inside the Girl kind of sounded like similar to Bent to Fly, but longer.
Maybe a little bit, but that was the first thing I noticed, man, off that first single of Antidote, or one of the singles for Antidote. And then he's like, in stereo. What's up with that lyric? You didn't need to put that in.
Well, let's talk about the lyrics. Like, overall, I listened to the last 2 Slash albums. The one thing I'm happy about with this album is that it's a lot shorter. It's like 52 minutes. The second, the second album they did, World on Fire, that one was a long album. There's like 17 songs. It was 77 minutes in length. I was exhausted by the end of listening to that. And like, they had some good songs, like which World on Fire was a great song. I really liked like Avalon was, I think, from the last one. And then what's the one that Wicked Stone is another good song. I love that riff in that song. And Slash's guitar playing on this album is really good. And like, I would expect nothing less from it. But it's really going to come down to whether you like Myles' voice. And there is a little bit more range in his voice, I would say, on this album. Like,
absolutely.
Some of the best songs off the album are actually the ballads. Like, my favorite song, I thought originally was going to be Driving Rain, which I still love the single. But I think my favorite one is actually The One You Loved Is Gone. That's like a really slow ballad.
Mine too.
And you kind of hear his lower register, which you don't hear a whole lot on the Slash records. But man, the Slash's guitar solos on that song, he's got 2 solos and they're fantastic.
I agree. That's probably my favorite song on the album too. Sugar Cane should have just been released as Cocaine.
Yeah,
I did not like that song.
Sugar Cane is by far the worst song on the album, and the lyrics are so cringeworthy. Like, he's talking about the girl being like sugar, and it kind of reminds me of, if you guys ever saw the Velvet Revolver documentary where they're trying to like find a singer.
Yeah.
And one guy submits a song and he sings a song called Stripper Girl. And Matt Sorum's like, I would never write a song called Stripper Girl. Well, this is the closest that they've come to writing Stripper Girl. At least Slash has.
Why not Cocaine Girl or something like that?
Yeah, like overall, I felt the album's it's decent, but I think I probably like Apocalyptic Love better.
I like the intro, the guitar intro to Great Pretender. I mean, you definitely get Myles' vocal range on this album. It's not like what we said in the podcast, like, he's monotone and blah, blah, blah. He's got some low register in there, and I was like even impressed. He sounded like the dude from Green Day, and he sounded like fucking Chris Cornell on 2 different tracks. I mean,
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, Chris Cornell, come on.
I said he sounded like. I'm not putting him on the echelon. I'm not putting him on the Cornell echelon. I'm just saying he sounded like.
Yeah, and the other thing that's great about, the one thing I liked about the album is that there were some songs on there, like, when you listen to a Myles and Slash song, you kind of know what it's going to sound like, and you're, okay, this sounds like a Slash riff. But there's a couple songs like Call of the Wild's intro riff. It's kind of like a start and stop riff. Right. And you're like, this doesn't really sound like a Slash and Myles song. And then the other one is My Antidote, like especially the beginning with like that drum beat. That's
like when it sounds like the Beautiful and People intro.
yeah, it kind of sounds like the Beautiful People, and you're like, this doesn't sound like something that you'd expect from Slash's band.
No, I know. Like he kind of went off into some different riffs. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I can't play it because you know why, but to absorb an album in less than 12 hours, I mean, I kind of got my grasp on the whole thing. But like, dude, Slash said like in a recent interview that like, the best way that he likes to edit his albums or whatever is he'll listen to the demos in his car. So when I got the album last night, dude, I just drove around. It was fucking beautiful outside. It was like 3 a.m. It was like crisp, calm, cool, like hoodie weather. I just rolled down the windows and drove for like an hour. And I had nothing. I just needed to concentrate on listening to the album. So I just drove around for an hour. Thank God I didn't get pulled over like middle of the night. I wouldn't have, no reason to get in trouble. It's just like some shady kid listening to rock and roll in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he's listening to an album that hasn't come out yet. You're going to get double whammy.
Yeah, right?
You're about Jeff. He went to jail for getting an album early.
So at the end of the day, like, I had to get into like the mindset of Slash, so I just went around and drove, and dude, and like it's a good like road trip album. Don't get me wrong, but like when like Sid and I said like the One You Loved is probably, or The One You Love Is Gone is like probably the best song on the album. But like that was like I had to like sit at a stop sign. I like re-listened to it. Like that's a great fucking song, man. Like it kind of like you love things because you can identify with them, and like. I totally identified with the lyrics, and Slash fucking put that song together. That should have been their first fucking single, man.
Yeah, I think it should have been. Yeah. I hope they do release it, and I hope they actually do add it to the set list, because if you guys have been following them on tour, like they've been doing the same Guns formula, like they just play the same songs. But the thing I'll give Slash credit for, like as the tour goes on, he'll start putting in newer songs that we haven't heard. But yeah, I mean, that is probably my favorite song, is definitely the one of the best songs off the record. Another song, I know we talked about Sugarcane being probably the worst song off the album. Another one I didn't like was Read Between the Lines. I just hated the harmonies. They sounded very cringeworthy. It almost sounded like Slash got a bunch of like female backup singers, and like it was kind of like it just was weird. I don't know. And typically they like the guys who do the harmonies, like Todd Kearns does like a really good job of singing harmonies, but that song just seemed weird to me. I didn't like it at all.
There are cringeworthy parts of this album, man. Like, I don't know what to say. You can't rewrite Appetite for Destruction. You can't rewrite Illusions. You can't rewrite. Well, he did with My Antidote, I think. Telling you, Bailey, go back and listen to that intro. You'll hear that You Could Be Mine riff. But like. You can't expect gold from Slash, but he's still putting out fucking albums, dude.
He's still putting out albums, and I always find with Slash's work, it's kind of inconsistent, but there's always like one or two gems off the record. Like off of Apocalyptic Love, for me, it's Anastasia. Like that's such a good song,
right?
I also loved, Standing in the Sun, and I think Bad Rain is off of the first Conspirators record too. And then World on Fire, I find didn't have as many memorable songs or songs that I liked as much, but I mean, they're still playing all those songs going forward on tour. And I think, they've got a couple of good songs on here. How did you guys like Mind Your Manners, like the second single they released?
I wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't realize, I would have said, what was the one song you guys mentioned? I would have had that as a single over Mind Your Manners.
Yeah, The One You Loved Is Gone. Yeah, I think I'm not a huge fan of Mind Your Manners. I mean, they played it on Jimmy Kimmel Live as a second single. It's been out for a couple of weeks, but it hasn't even charted yet. And Driving Rain is already number 9 on the mainstream Billboard rock charts.
I mean, those are two songs that have already have the title. Pearl Jam did a song called Mind Your Manners, and CCR did a song called Driving Rain. So, well, I thought for a second when I first saw the song list that they were going to be covers.
Oh, really? You thought they'd throw in some covers? That would be actually interesting on a Slash record.
Then obviously, I think he'll get his covers out in Covers and Roses.
Covers and Roses. Yeah. The other thing that I also find consistent on the album is like I'm kind of mixed on Brent Fitz. Like I like the way he plays the Guns N' Roses songs live, but I found some of his playing like I didn't really like that much on the album.
Who's better, him or Frank?
Well, what do you think? Of course, Frank is the greatest drummer of all time.
Ever.
I mean, why do you need to play a drum fill when you can just use a China cymbal all the time? He's even worse than Lars with that fucking China symbol.
John Bonham, who?
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the overall album? Like if you had to give it a score out of 10?
7 out of
7.75, 7.5.
I say 7.
7 out of 10. I say it's probably a 6 for me.
Okay.
6. Like I'll definitely keep listening to some songs, but
if it didn't have the ballad, I think that it'd be a D.
will be a lot lower for me. Isn't there another ballad on the song on the album too? I'm trying to remember what it was called. I think it was
Boulevard of Broken Hearts, or
yeah. You know what that was weird about Boulevard of Broken Hearts? It kind of the intro riff for some reason reminded me of Eye of the Tiger. Like I thought that
I thought you were gonna say Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yeah, no. It sounded like it reminded me of the intro to Eye of the Tiger when I listened to it for the first time, like the intro riff.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on there. What's the word I want to use that reminded me of other songs? And I mean, it's hard to write an entire album, be on tour, not be influenced by other genres of music and other players. Like Slash is not necessarily sampling, but he's influenced by other forms and genres and players of music. So I mean, you're gonna see it on his albums.
Yeah, even like when they were playing live a couple days ago, somebody messaged me and sent me a video. Like he played like a little snippet of an AC/DC song live, but I didn't catch it. But the other thing I noticed with this album, and I've noticed in a couple songs, is that Myles tends to like have a melody over top of the guitar solo in certain songs. Like he'll find a vocal melody and he'll just sing it over the solo. And I actually like that part in some of the songs.
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing I didn't like about the vocals is like I hated when Myles hits that higher register and like it just sounds like monotone in all the songs. When
he went high a lot on this album.
Yeah.
But he did, like I said, man, he showed a lot more vocal range on this particular album than he has in the past.
Yeah, and I got to say the other song that was really good that they've played live a lot is Call of the Wild.
Oh, I like that. That's probably my favorite song off the album.
They got that great start and stop riff, and then like that's a song I think it's got a really cool Slash riff like at the beginning too. Like it's like an intro solo almost, and that's definitely a song where you can like hear some of Myles's lower register too.
I think he could probably open. It kind of reminds me of how they use "You're a Lie" that was off Apocalyptic Love. That could be a great intro song for them on this tour.
Yeah, they've got a couple, like even that song Halo off of the Apocalyptic Love. I think it's Apocalyptic Love. And like that's another really good opener they have. But I don't think they've been playing it on this tour yet.
Not that I'm aware of. Let me ask you guys a question. Out of all the songs on the album, all the solos, all the riffs, all the main hooks per song, out of all the lists, which would you rather seen being written as a Guns N' Roses song? Where you would see maybe like, hey, I'd rather see Guns playing this.
I think the One You Loved Is Gone. I think that would be really interesting. Like, listening to Guns songs and going here, it just feels like it kind of makes me wonder, like, I wonder if he presented that song to Axl, like if Axl added some piano parts here and maybe some synthesizers, they could really elevate those songs. Like The One You Love is definitely, I think, one of those songs. Like, I kind of feel like even though it's like a straightforward rock and roll band, it's kind of nice to have like those added instruments sometimes.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, like you guys said, Myles went more into his lower register, and it would kind of makes you think, because I think a Guns N' Roses album would be great if Axl uses most of his lower register.
Yeah, I know. Like, I wonder, like, because I know Slash gave an interview. He's been doing a ton of interviews actually recently. Like, he did an AMA on Reddit.
With us.
Yeah, just not with us. He did an AMA on Reddit, which I didn't get to read the whole thing.
Dude, there's nothing to read. He was like, he maybe answered half a dozen questions, and he was in and out in 30 seconds or less. Man, it was terrible. Nobody, and all the questions that he answered were like, "Yes, I like music." Next question.
Did you see that one bizarre question somebody asked him? Like, if you were to drink orange juice, but you find out it was milk, would you be disappointed?
Yeah, it was
dumb as hell.
Some of these people on Reddit are not real fans. Like, they asked some of them.
Knowing him, he probably went in and read some of the most less than cool questions and was like, fuck this, I got better things to do.
Yeah, or like Betta was in the room with him, and then like she cycled through all the questions and said, okay, here, you can answer this one.
Well, she's at those shows now, so
I almost wonder if she's like, she's latched onto him and she's like gonna be, handling his career now.
She's probably like, in my opinion, whispering bullshit into Megan's ear while they're on stage.
Probably.
Now, like,
So one of the best quotes I heard. So when Slash was promoting his AMA on Reddit, he said it'll be starting at like 4 p.m. CDT time, which I think is Central Time.
Yeah.
So somebody on the forums asked what does CDT stand for, and they said Chinese Democracy Time. So Slash's interview should be in about 10 years.
That's the greatest comment ever.
That's probably the best Guns N' Roses comment I've heard in over a decade, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is such a good one. What
that guy should make it
stand for Central District Time or something?
Central something time. I know he was in where was he? Colorado last night.
Yeah, he was in Colorado last night, and he's playing.
Shout out to Erica for meeting him and one of our podcast guests.
Oh, she met Slash?
Yeah, she got to meet him and she got her ticket signed.
Oh, you know what? I did see something she posted. That's awesome.
And then she also posted photo of really delicious looking pizza in a hotel room at 3 a.m. So I hope that she had a great time.
Yeah, well, speaking of 3 a.m, I did find one thing interesting that Slash did talk about in that AMA is that somebody asked him how his sleep schedule is. I'm always fascinated by this, how it works with musicians, but I always heard they never stay on a regular schedule. But he said show nights, he has so much trouble falling asleep afterwards because you're got so much adrenaline going through your body.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he said he normally doesn't fall asleep till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Nothing's changed. It's just he has no alcohol and drugs involved.
Yeah, he's got no alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, dude. Who was it? Anthony Boza said that when we interviewed him that Slash, instead of doing that, he waited for his kids to go to bed, then he'd work in the studio at his house or whatever. So long story short, that's the time when he booze and drugs and write music. So instead he would he had to figure out what to substitute that time with. And it was doing the book with Anthony at the time. And now it's probably write new material for the solo album.
Yeah, and I guess after hearing the record, knowing what you guys know now, we've listened to all 12 songs, or however many are songs are on the record.
12.
Does that make you less likely or more likely, or it doesn't matter at all for you to go see Slash live if he came to your city again?
Well, I'm still heavily contemplating that festival in Louisville, and I probably will go, man. I mean, considering they're doing the tribute to Vinny with the Hell Yeah set, so I think I'll probably go up there. You boys and your dogs.
sorry about that.
I love dogs, man. They can be, man. I have more respect for dogs than most people, so it's all good. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, I mean, Slash just needs to fill his boozing and drugging time, which is instead now writing music and
Yeah, this is so complicated because Bailey's got dogs, so when his dogs bark, my dogs bark.
it's the echo, man.
I'm dude, you need to get a shock collar. I mean, it works great.
No.
Wait, no, we don't use shock
Fuck
collar.
off, Sid.
You can't. They do have humane ways. They
honestly, when my dogs bark,
eucalyptus that sprays out every time they bark or something.
The only thing I can get them to do, I get treats and I just try to lure them with treats, and then they sort of stop focusing on whatever's catching their attention. But sometimes it doesn't work.
Go to the butcher and ask if he's got any bones that they can chew on, or get a big man. My dog, I got her when she was alive. I got her one of those bones that are this big. I didn't see her for 3 days. I didn't even just have to go out and feed her. And she was in the corner, this is my bone, fuck off. You know
what? I started getting the bones, but somehow they lose one of the bones, so there's only one left, and then they keep fighting over it. And I'm I should just get those smaller treats. Yeah, it's always under the couch, or the tennis balls get lost under the couch. But I guess getting back to the record, after listening to the record, I would probably still go see Slash if he came to town. Depends on how much the tickets are, because somebody sent me how much the tickets are in Europe, and I don't know if it was scalpers or not, but man, they're expensive. It was a couple $100.
Oh, Slash is always going to sell out a show in Europe, not every show in America.
Well, you guys heard about Ticketmaster.
Why is anybody
talking about this? This is
what I missed.
Well, maybe Bailey, why don't you explain? I haven't read the whole story.
Shit, I don't have the article pulled up. I think I retweeted it. Here, let me bring it up.
Fuck Ticketmaster, man.
Okay. It says, report, according to Loudwire, Ticketmaster teaming with scalpers to collect extra fees.
Oh, so yeah, I've heard of. They've been doing this for decades, man. Like sometimes, like the first 10, 20 rows, man, are all owned by the Ticketmaster. Then they'll send their own like people out to scout them on site for a set amount of money, and
But
they've been working in. They've been in collusion forever.
But doesn't Ticketmaster also own like StubHub too?
Yes,
Well,
subsidiary. But the subsidiary works on behalf of beating the scalpers, quote unquote. Because I bought my Cincinnati ticket to the Steven show with guns off StubHub, and I got it at less than face value.
Yeah, you know, I bought my LA ticket off StubHub for like what $90 or something, and like I don't know what the face value was, but it was like the day of the show, and I ended up getting great seats.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Oh, it worked out great. I almost got kicked out of a Guns N' Roses show. Oh, that was so funny. Was it? Yeah, I think maybe we should tell that story another time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That was a fun night.
that was a fun night. I'll never forget that night. Yeah, so that's basically. Any guys have any more thoughts on the Slash's record?
You know, man, like he gave it 110% on it. I mean, he can't please everybody. I mean, like I said, the Lost, what was the girl song, the one that got away or whatever? That song's fucking aces.
Yeah, if you guys are gonna go listen to one song, go listen to the one you loved is gone. That's a really good song.
Dude,
I think they could even
single.
I think they could even release it on the film soundtrack, or maybe you know what, Slash and Myles will probably release more music, like not necessarily on a new record, but like Slash said he's got 4 movies that have closed deals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
when There's Nothing Left to Fear came out, he did that one song for the movie.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
he gonna do the next Terminator movie?
Yeah,
that would be so dope.
I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, a lot of celebrities do this, but I'll give him a pass because he actually knows the band. Like he was on the set of the next Terminator movie, and he was wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt.
yeah, but he's like I think he's a legitimate fan. Like remember he had
Yeah.
dinner with the guys, and who else? Sylvester Stallone was like working out for Rambo 5, and
Yeah, I
he was
saw
playing,
that.
I didn't realize he was doing another one of those.
Oh yeah, if it ain't broke,
man.
they'll fix it, man.
He's doing another Rocky movie.
Come on. Is it Creed
it
or is it
Rock-
Rocky?
It's Creed 2.
Oh, Creed was so good, man.
Creed
Oh,
was
that was a
dope.
great
Creed
movie.
was worth it, dude.
Yeah.
I was thinking I'm surprised it got the nudge on the Oscar, man. I think it should have won it.
I think Stallone was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but he didn't get it.
I think it was also Best Picture, if I'm not mistaken, too. I might be wrong, but I mean, dude, nothing's gonna beat Rocky 1. Let's be real, but dude, yeah, dude, the Creed fucking thing going on right now is pretty dope. I like the backstory, the whole night.
Rocky 4 is the best in my book.
Well,
I must break you.
Well, apparently this next Creed movie is basically the sequel to Rocky 4.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I never even watched
You know
Rocky
what?
because it was such garbage from what I heard.
Oh, with Tommy the Machine Gun.
I hated that
saw
one.
that motherfucker in the theater when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, man. Go for it. That was the name of wasn't LL Cool J like tied to the song or something like that? But dude, Rocky's a great American hero. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Rambo's a silent American hero. But like for them to keep the franchises going and fucking Terminator, good for them. And yes, Guns should fucking put a single out for the goddamn movie score.
Well, hopefully this next Terminator movie is good because I think James Cameron is actually working on it this time.
Yeah, he's involved. Like, yeah. So and Sarah Connor, like, what's her name? His ex-wife's even in it. What's her name? Linda Hamilton from the originals. So like they have but no Edward Furlong.
That's a shame. Terminator 2 is probably top 5 favorite movies for me.
That movie was fucking awesome, man. But we're getting off subject. But
you know what? I would hope with all these interviews that Slash is doing, like, he keeps getting asked the question, you guys doing new music? Duff was asked the question. I would hope that they can start to realize, like, hey, maybe we should get together and like write music.
Well, yeah, you want to get the question stopped asked to you. Sorry, the like worst English grammar ever. But if you want the question to be stopped asked, maybe you should go do it. We stopped asking when is GNR going to reunite because you fucking did it. So you're not walking out of any, press conferences or whatever because of that question now because it's happened. So here's an idea. If you want somebody to stop asking the question, maybe you should do it.
Yeah, and give a page to Mr. Avocado Man.
Yeah, right.
I think it's going to be interesting when Slash is off tour and once he's done with Myles later, like next year. But you know what might happen? He might just start producing movies and like, you know, working on his movies, and then like all of a sudden he'll go back to Myles, or who the hell knows?
Doesn't he like help produce that like horror thing at Universal Studios as well?
Yeah, he was at that Halloween horror movie, whatever it's called.
Doesn't he? It's their version of the haunted house, or their version of the Halloween, whatever, spooky nights or whatever. Yeah, didn't he set design some of that stuff, I believe.
Yeah, speaking of Halloween, aren't they doing another Halloween movie as well?
Fuck yeah, I can't wait.
You know what, man?
No, I'm serious. I can't fucking wait, dude.
Maybe
God,
it's just
Hollywood is really out of ideas.
Maybe it's maybe it's just me in my old age, but I'm sick of all these fucking reboots and like sequels and superhero movies. Like, can they just create something original for once?
No, because it's selling.
Oh, God, it's like the it's like the never ending in this lifetime tour, or not in this lifetime tour, whatever it's called.
Because pop culture is has got society by the balls, feeding them shit that they should buy and listen to. And
we're in the age of nostalgia, really.
Yeah,
right
nostalgia
now.
sells. That's what it is.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what, man. Like the new Halloween. See, like if you're gonna keep the original cast, then I want to see the new Halloween movie. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
If you're gonna have the new Terminator with Arnold, with Linda Hamilton, and whomever, I don't know, like, and James Cameron involved, that's cool. But if you're gonna just keep, repopping fucking shit like how many different versions of Batman have we seen, or Spider-Man in the last?
And listen, we all know that the best Batman is George Clooney.
Cincinnati proud motherfucker.
Come on, 1997. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays what's his name, Iceman or whatever.
Yeah, and Val. What about Val Kilmer though, man? I don't know.
Whatever happened to? Have you seen Val Kilmer, man? He's gotten fat.
Yeah, dude, he's in the new Top Gun movie.
Oh, dude, another one.
Top Gun.
What's next? Are we getting a sequel to, like, I don't know?
Top Gun sequel is like 35 years overdue, dude. Cut him some slack.
Yeah, you know what movie I do want to see though? It's in the chat. Bohemian Rhapsody, the one about Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dying to see that. That'll be. Really
thought about the fact that they're making, they're adapting The Dirt into, the Dirt book into a movie. Are they going to have the scene where Vince Neil punched Izzy?
Maybe. What was it in the book?
Yeah, well, Vince Neil talked about it in the book.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'd be a significant enough event for them to do it.
Who are they going to cast as Izzy?
Yeah, who are they going to cast as Izzy? That'd be hilarious. But you know what? I think Michaela sent me a list of or she told me about some actors that she thought might be really good for like a Guns N' Roses movie. And like some of the people we looked up, yeah, they kind of look like the character, but they're like really relatively unknown actors. Like they're not really famous. Like
just do it straight out of Compton style, and I think it will do well.
Yeah, did you guys see that Axl tweeted out again like 2 days ago
about Trump?
Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing Slash said in a new interview. He was getting interviewed. Where did he get interviewed? He gets been interviewed so many places. He said that if Guns N' Roses were to do a new record, it might be more political because Axl's kind of more outspoken than he is. I definitely think it would be.
We've said it 100 times. If there's new music, what are they going to talk about? You know, because they aren't living hand to mouth anymore. You know.
Yeah, he also said in the interview that like his reconciliation with Axl may have never happened if it hadn't been for Axl reaching out to him. Because Slash is like, I probably would have never reached out to him.
So Axl reached out.
What happened first? Happy birthday, Axl, or Axl reached out?
So I think what happened is like Duff, came back in 2014. I'm sure that helped mend the fences, and then there was the whole thing with him wanting to release that Las Vegas DVD and Slash approving it. I don't know what series of events happened first, but Slash was in Peru, I think, or Argentina in March of 2015. Axl called him, and that's kind of like the first contact they had. Because I've always heard these stories now, people who knew Axl around 2012, 2011 said that Axl said never say never when it came to the GNR reunion. But kind of publicly, he kept saying, like, never going to happen. Yeah, maybe it was all just planned like that.
I don't know, man. Maybe he had those guys in Axl and Company under contract saying you'll be in the band for 3 years.
Yeah.
Or something.
I thought about this. So I think we brought it up if you guys would have seen the reunion if Duff wasn't there. But would you guys have gone to one of these shows if the lineup was Axl, Slash, Tommy Stinson, Richard Fortas, Frank, Dizzy, and Chris Pittman?
Yeah, I would have. You know what? I don't think most fans give a shit about Duff or even know who he is. Like most.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think honestly, Axel and Slash could have been like, we don't really need you, Duff, but like, sure, you can join.
Unfortunately.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't think most people know who. Like most of the people.
Well, I mean, obviously, when I was in the pit in Cincinnati, and that little fucker in front of me is like, when Steven came out, it's like, who's this asshole? Oh my god!
Fucking.
So I guess easily your argument can be, holds water, but like, I think for us diehard, anybody who's 30 or older definitely knows most people in the band. I would say.
Well, I'm not.
Older.
I'm not 30.
If you're a diehard fan, son, it's so different. Like, you give a shit. You want to know, like, who's playing what on what song, and like, what the difference is. But there are, like, the bubblegummers out there that just want to go and see Guns N' Roses who couldn't even fucking know half the deep cuts and didn't even know, like, like, who was in the band before Slash or between Slash's times and Duff's times. Like, there are definitely bubblegummers out there, trust me, and they just go because there's something to do that night instead of like sitting at home watching TV on the couch, which is unfortunate. So I don't know. This is what it is.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's pretty much all my thoughts on Slash's new record. I kind of wonder, should we put a bet? Like, do you think we'll be seeing a new Slash record? Do you think we'll see the next Slash record before we see another Guns N' Roses record?
Ooh, I mean, Slash does one what, like every
World on Fire came out in
years?
2014. Apocalyptic Love came out 2012. This one came out 2018. But Guns N' Roses happened in between, so I'm sure it would happen sooner.
Well, I think Guns is going to pick up again. So, but they got to do something else other than let's just go back on tour, do the same set list, have the same lineup. You got to throw in another incentive. You got to record a new album, or maybe change up the lineup a little bit, which I don't think they will. But I mean, I might sound nuts, but personally, I think we'll get new music before we get another lineup change.
Oh yeah.
I think if we don't get new music in the next 3 years, we'll never get new music from Guns.
3 years. Fuck you.
Come on, I'm in CD.
You're like the optimistic. Okay, 3 years. I'm like sitting here like that's a prison term, dude. Like, who the fuck wants to sit waiting 3 years for
3
a
years? Come on, look at it this way, man. They get back together in 2019. They go play Europe again. They do the same set list. They charge fans outrageous amounts of money.
Play more covers.
And then in the fall of 2019, they'll start recording music. 3 years after that, they'll probably release an album when it's ready.
Come on, you guys don't want to see the most punk rock guy ever on tour again with Guns N' Roses?
Dude, Duff?
Yeah.
Come on, he's super punk rock. I think his daughter's more punk rock than him. His wife is more punk rock than him. His wife is more punk rock than him.
Yeah, come on. She crashed.
You want to talk about the interview that he just did?
Yeah, I don't want to go too much into stuff, but yeah, because we want a podcast on Sunday to talk about. But yeah, let's talk about that interview he did. I found that comedian so annoying, like Dean, whatever his name is.
He likes to name drop a lot.
Yeah, I found him annoying, and
I was out sucking Bill Burr's dick on tour for the last 3 nights. So
yeah. And then, he kept, he knew some of his GNR knowledge, but some of the stuff I was amazed he didn't even know. Like, he didn't know that they were on tour before the Illusion albums came out. He was like, Really? You guys were out on tour? I'm like, you're really not that big of a fan if you don't know that. Yeah, right. And then they got the Civil War, Knock on Heaven's Door. They said that the Civil War was for the Days of Thunder soundtrack. I know, I was yelling at my computer. I'm like, no, it wasn't. That was Knocking on Heaven's Door. Why don't you guys do interviews with people who are going to ask you the right questions? Yeah, I know. But anything about new music he brought up, Duff didn't want to talk about. You could tell if you listen closely when he was asked the Izzy question that it was edited. He was like, I like click, cut. Yeah. And then like the back end of the question. I thought the most adorable part of the interview is when Susan made them scramble eggs. She can make me I'm allergic to eggs, and she can make me eggs anytime. But you know what? I've summarized the whole interview on gnrcentral.com. So if you guys want to see exactly what Duff said, you can go check it out. It's a lot of stuff he talked about. There were some good tidbits though in it. Yeah. I mean, if you're not a diehard fan, it's not stuff. It's stuff. He did say that Izzy's addictions were worse than Duff's, which I was kind of shocked to hear. But I kind of call bullshit on that. But yeah. But Izzy was the private one, so you never really knew. But Duff was never into smack.
He never was a heroin guy.
Yeah.
Well, when you verbally say you and Slash are smoking crack on the back tail end of what plane was it? Like the MGM Grand.
plane.
And you're like not even off the tarmac yet. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was gonna do drugs, it'd be kind of cool, I guess, to do it like 10,000 feet over the fucking earth. Like, hey, party.
Yeah, like there's a lot of interviews. Like even Slash was on Mark Maron's podcast this morning, so I
you catch that.
And you know what? The Mark Maron podcast, I don't like Mark Maron. I know a lot of people.
I think he's all right.
He didn't know a lot of basic stuff. Like they were talking about stuff that every fan already knows. And
shout out to Matt, man, for saying like the Duff interview should have been done with us because
shout out to Matt. The Duff interview was Gene Central.
Bootlegged all our questions.
Wait, his name's not Matt anymore. It's Andre's Penis.
It's Andre's, sorry. Andre's Penis was very nice, and he said that Duff should have done the interview with us.
These guys, if they weren't going to, do interviews with us, they should have went on like, I don't know, Joe Rogan's podcast.
Hi, Joe Rogan. Oh, I would love it if they did Joe Rogan's, man.
Yeah, they should do Joe Rogan. I think that Joe Rogan would ask him too tough of questions.
I don't know. He did pretty well with the Steven Tyler interview, but Steven Tyler's years past what, their do not talk about order or whatever acts was a gag order against people. But I don't know. Like,
yeah, he even Slash.
I think Joe Rogan's blowing Howard off the map right now.
Yeah, he is. And Slash didn't even do Howard's show, but I think when he was doing the interviews, like Howard was off, or his useless producer didn't even have many guests on over the last couple of weeks. Like this week he had like one guest, I think, and then like previous week I think Paul McCartney came on. He's got a new album out
on Stern Show.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Slash said he's listening to Paul McCartney's new album. I haven't heard it, but
I might check it out. One album to absorb at a time.
Is it bad that Paul McCartney in his mid-70s is making more music than Guns N' Roses?
Guns N' Roses is, I know.
When you're a Beatle, you can do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Sir Paul McCartney. Yeah, call me Sid when any of those guys in Oasis get knighted.
Yeah, I know. They will be knighted. Those guys from Oasis are a national treasure of England.
Bullshit. I don't think anybody in England would trade the Beatles for Oasis if they had to seriously have like Sophie's Choice about it.
Come on, Oasis is great, man.
Yeah,
not a fan.
I was watching the other day, and when I was a kid, I didn't really understand all the references, but I was watching that episode of The Simpsons when Homer has that band, the B Sharps. And it's kind of like loosely based on the Beatles. I didn't get all those references till I was an adult.
See, yeah, dude. Like I'll watch even The Roadrunner and find it 10 times funnier now than I was when I was like a kid.
Like I love how Barney's kind of like John Lennon, and then he finds his Yoko. That's the best.
When he goes into his French phase and he's wearing the beret and the skin tight outfit, and the scene melts. Yeah. I love The Simpsons. You
know what? Have you heard Yoko's music?
I remember that Katy Perry cover that she did that you recommended me watching.
Oh man, Yoko's music is horrible.
Dude, we had a podcast, and then talking about Yoko's music, and then 3 or 4 hours later on Family Guy, they did this joke about her, and it was just so
honestly, man. I think John Lennon was punking everybody. I don't understand what he saw in Yoko's music.
Or her, man.
Or her, yeah, I don't get it.
Or who is the guy they followed around India for a while that pretty much.
God, what's his name? Yeah, that yogi, right?
Yeah, or whatever his name is, and he essentially just bamboozled.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Yoda was following on.
No, man, I would love to do a whole true story on Yoda. I need to talk to Doug Goldstein about her because
didn't you say she lived down here or lived in Sedona?
She lives in she's dead now, but she lived in Sedona. She died in 2007. And if you look at the liner notes for Chinese Democracy, I think it's dedicated to her, she's one of the people it's dedicated to.
Nice.
So my wife's been to Sedona. I'm sure Bailey, you've probably been since you live close to there.
A long time ago, but yeah, I've been there before.
But I've always heard it's a very interesting place to go to. I would love to go there and shoot some stuff.
Oh, it is.
Nice.
And a lot of different cast of characters live there. But yeah, she was living down there, and because Doug Goldstein, when we interviewed him, he did drop some hints about what she was like, but I didn't want to go too much into it. But I would love to do a whole episode on Yoda. We totally should.
I plead the fifth on my knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everybody. You guys have anything else?
No, man.
No.
Go pick up Slash's album, man. It's definitely worth it.
It's out tomorrow. If you guys are gonna pick up, if you guys only got money to pick up a couple songs, I definitely think go get The One That You Loved Is Gone. Call of the Wild is great. Driving Rain is another great song off the album. My Antidote's always good. Is also good.
Just don't pick up Sugarcane.
Yeah, Sugarcane is the worst song off the album. Don't even listen to it.
Telling you, Bailey, go back and listen to the intro of My Antidote, and you'll be like, yeah, I hear it now.
I'm gonna go listen to that again. I totally did not catch it.
Neither did I.
Right after the Marilyn Manson and esque intro, just do the count for the bass and drum line for "You Could Be Mine" after the part of "You Could Be Mine," and you'll be like, I hear it now.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you guys in 3 years when Slash releases his next album, because Guns N' Roses haven't released any new material.
We will see you on Sunday.
We will see you guys on Sunday. And tomorrow, I want to give Miss Metal a shout out. She's in the chat. We're going to have a true story episode that she shot to help us out, all about Hanoi Rocks. I know that's been a band that a lot of people love. Whole true story about Hanoi Rocks and the history of that band. So I want to thank Miss Metal for that. And we shot some good true stories like Prince and Guns N' Roses, and some other ones like Iggy Pop and Guns N' Roses. And
did you do Oasis and GNR? If that's even a thing.
They did play Rock in Rio 3 together.
No, Axel and Company did.
Axel and Company did, yeah.
Speaking
I could do
of,
all Oasis and GNR.
Speaking of Iggy Pop, if you guys get a chance, go check out. And I'm skipping it tonight, and I was really close to going. Henry Rollins' new special he put out on Showtime. He does an Iggy Pop impression that'll make you piss your pants. It's so dead on. So definitely go check that out.
Hey,
Henry. What?
Jeff, that statement you just made sounded like an article title for Alternative Nation.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Part of me
so
my pants.
I do want to talk about Alternative Nation. They wrote the worst headline for any article, or even they shouldn't have even written the article. It was such garbage. So the headline of the article was Kurt Cobain's daughter does what was it? Work exercises or something. Video of Kurt Cobain's daughter. No, yeah, Kurt Cobain's daughter does squats. That was the title of the headline. Like really.
So you literally had photos of her exercising?
Yeah, it was like a video that she put on Instagram or something, and like even the people in the comments were like, Brett, you've totally ran out of ideas.
Dude,
me too.
It's like, who wants? I mean, if she put it up, yeah, but exercise is just, if you don't take care of your heart, it's not going to take care of you guys.
Well, in that case,
everybody fucking exercises. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I just went to the gym this morning.
Is that maybe you, Bailey? I don't know.
Yeah, I do have that.
I work out. Come on.
I have that video of Duff taking a shit from yesterday. Maybe I should put up on my blog.
That'd be a little corny or nutty.
Yeah, nutty. I think it's more nutty. You guys have been following Duff's interviews. He's been eating a lot of almonds lately.
Yeah.
I thought he's eating a lot of lemons.
Lemons and almonds. And
living like a lemon. Ain't so hot. Oh, the lemon tree. Oh, that's another great Simpsons episode you should check out.
Yeah, the lemon tree in Shelbyville. Yeah, that's another classic episode.
Hey, Izzy's eating a lot of avocados lately.
The Flanders is. I have a van we all can fit in. The Flanders is.
So last thing I want to say, South Park season premieres like the end of the month. So
yeah, a lot of stuff. Like when you guys go back to school, that's when all the good TV comes in, because everybody sits in their house and watches TV in the fall and winter in America.
Yeah,
especially in the Midwest, because it's all shit. But I can't believe you've already had snow, Sid. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we had snow earlier this week. It's melted, but like we get frost warnings now every morning, and this is one of the coldest Septembers ever.
Yeah, it rained all day yesterday, and I woke up and it was like 80 something, but the humidity was at like 80%.
Oh yeah, the last thing.
Poor bastard. Yeah, dude. If I lived in your neck of the woods, Bailey, I wouldn't have allergies. I'd be so happy.
Yeah, well, you know what? When you said woke, Vanity Fair wrote this stupid article about Axl Rose being woke. I had to go look up what woke meant because I didn't even know what the meaning was.
Such the one I sent you and Franz and Kevin.
Yeah, it was such a garbage article.
Well,
I wrote
send
at
it
the
to
bottom
me.
where's Paxful's balls? And they used like the most Cosmo quote unquote picture of Axel like with his scarf and cane. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. That's whatever. I mean,
People are desperate.
like, hey, but bad news is always bad press is press, man. Let Axel have his due. He's made it from circus to Vogue. More power too.
Well, the gist of the article was like, he wrote all those, bad lyrics, and now he's like very socially conscious because of his tweets. But they failed to realize he still sings those songs on stage.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, obviously, there's some songs that are omitted for obvious reasons, but hey, man, people change, people grow, and you put several $1 million in their bank accounts, their attitudes totally change.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'm just waiting for the time that Guns N' Roses jumps the shark completely when like they change the lyrics to "It's So Easy" to be more politically correct.
It's so helpful when you
Or You Could Be Mine
are just there to have a makeout section. That's what they're gonna change it to. So helpful.
Instead of "Why Don't You Fuck Off," it's gonna be like, I don't know.
Why don't you just come over in here and let's talk about it?
Why don't you come over here and we'll just have coitus? Oh man, it's sometimes really fun to make fun of the band that we love.
Yeah, right. It's hard. You gotta bust some balls.
Yeah.
Man, if I was just there to put my nose in Axel's ass, the change in scenery would never change. If we just had one point of view, then you guys would just be eating it like sheep, like the viewers. So you can't always love everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Hear that echo.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for joining us. If you guys missed our review of Slash's new record, it's at the beginning of the podcast, and it'll be up probably in like 10, 15 minutes. You guys can check it out. We give our thoughts on the new record, which drops tomorrow. You guys can go check it out on iTunes, and I'm sure it's even on Slash's website, slashonline.com. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you Sunday. Take care.
Rock on, guys.
Take care.